Happy hump day again, guys. I did say yesterday got very late. Actually, in the end, we had to wait until we finished, until the thunderstorms around us finished, so we could roll out our swags. And then today we were pretty busy installing the GPS on that header. Now it's nearly 5 p.m. We had a truck come in as well, our truck collecting some grain. The rest of the barley, one trailer, and then the first trailer full of wheat. And now we just did a sample and we're now going again. It's pretty late in the afternoon, but at least we made another start. Moisture is at 12.3%, so it needs to be below 12.5. So we're just good, and so hopefully we still get a couple of hours done today. I'll just stop here actually. While I'm talking, you shouldn't be driving on your phone. So yeah, I wanted to, yesterday I didn't have time to finish that hump day video because of the time, but I really thought I'll talk to you about the feral camel population, because I had a bus tour yesterday and it was quite interesting because a lot of people have no idea really, first of all, that we've got that many camels in Australia. So we've got the largest and healthiest wild camel population in the world, and there's estimations of about 4 million camels here. But then, you know, we had a YouTuber, Tim Thompson here, did a really cool video on us and our story, and it had, you know, 43,000 views, so we're really happy with that. And there's a few comments there as well where they say, you know, camels, they drink so much. Camels, they're a feral problem. You know, I've done an interview for the Farm Weekly the other week, and as well, like in that article, they're all stressing this feral. They're now at a level where it's a feral pest, and I think we really have to. Our whole business ideas around doing something sensible, using the camel as an opportunity and not as a pest. So, and you know, if the people that make those comparisons really don't understand what they're talking about, because you're comparing 1 to 4 million, whatever, somewhere there, even if it's 5 million camels, to 34.5 million cows and 70 million, which came down from 170 million sheep in Australia. I don't know how many buffaloes, horses, goats, or whatever. You know, Australians have been extremely good in taking in or bringing in foreign species. The majority of Australians that migrated here in the 1840s up until now are from Europe, a lot of them. And of course, what do people do? They don't like that change, and so they bring in their cows, they bring in their sheep. So the typical cow here that produces the milk for the supermarkets is a Holstein Friesen, which is a typical German Dutch, you know, like a breed that is in Europe. So those cows are really well adapted to 15 degrees, like moderate temperatures. So guess what? All our cow dairies are either on the east coast in cooler temperate areas, or they're down south in Western Australia where it's milder temperatures, because they cannot cope with hot, dry environments. So at the same time, they brought in camels, because camels are fantastic pack animals. They can go a long time without water. So for those reasons, of course, they brought them in to help build the train tracks, and you know, they were basically our first road trains. And eventually they got replaced by trucks and trains and exploded in numbers, because Australia is pretty much a desert. So they're extremely and really well suited to strive in such a harsh environment. And this is an opportunity. I mean, they're here now. To say, okay, we got to shoot them doesn't make sense. It's a very reactive way of dealing with that kind of problem, because they reproduce at a rate of 10%. So even if you shoot 50,000 or 100,000 with $1 million of taxpayers' money, they're going to be all back next year. You know, 4 million, 10%, 400,000. Guess what? It didn't really make any impact. So the only way to manage the problem, if it is a problem, is to utilize them for export, for meat production, for milk production, breeding, whatever. Co-grazing with cows you know, I'm not saying as well we should get rid of 34.5 million cows because they do so much tread damage with their hoofs compared to a soft treaded camel. It's all nonsense. They're here now. You know, we are here now. Like, we didn't belong to this country. So our goal is to minimize the impact on the land. So we developed a mobile milking system to decentralize and minimize the impact on the land that our operation has. That's the difference. So we will always have an impact, but it's about how much of an impact you have. You're never gonna have that impact zero, because otherwise, you know, you have to remove yourself from that globe, and that's not something I want to suggest. So camels really play a vital role. And in terms of the drinking behavior, because I've seen that on one of the video comments, camels do not drink more than cows. So that's an easy fact that you can verify based on, you know, physiological data. Camels drink in fact less. They're better feed converters and they're better water converters. If you look at their poo, basically, camels do everything they can to start sweating late, to preserve water as much as they can, because they're desert animals. Cows are not. Look at their poo. I don't know if you're from a farm or if you have been to a farm and had the pleasure of stepping into a cow poo. It's very soft. So really, that tells it all. So of course there has been a lot of breeding and stuff going on to make cows and sheep cope with the Australian conditions. So that's what it is. Hang on, that's... Okay. That is Leo. He's got his GPS going, but he needs to tap on the screen now and confirm. But yeah, that is pretty much what I wanted to, you know, tell you. And I'm quite passionate about it, as you can see with my reaction. So please leave us a comment. I will keep talking about this. I want to show you the project we're doing on our farm here in Maka, where we're going to plant some forage, bush, like salt bush and all that, feed for camels. We're going to establish that over the next 2 years. And I'll take you along, you know, on that journey. And if you don't want to miss any update, guess what? Leave us a follow, please, and I'll be here. I'll be showing you more shorts as our harvest now continues. And then yeah, we'll see you next hump day, which is next Wednesday, or I'll see you in one of our little shorts updating you on how everything is progressing. So happy hump day, belated happy hump day.